of ethereum. We got our bracelet of ethereum. Just like I told you, around 200 kills. And so, like I promised, I've made some changes to my equipment. You ready for this? I don't think you're ready. Told you. Why? I look like a baller, but why? Well, during my first couple sessions in the Rev Caves, I've constantly been short on run energy, which makes killing the Revs not only slower, but a lot more dangerous. Because if you run too much, you have less run energy if someone attacks you. You have to walk smack in the middle of this dangerous corridor all the time. Because if you're hugging the wall, they have to kind of run around first before they can get to you. I'd need thousands of super energy potions to try and alleviate this with my old equipment. And they'd take up inventory space and probably just wouldn't last very long. It just wouldn't work. So I had to fix this, which meant my man needed to shed some pounds. It's also the other reason why I've chosen the crystal bow as my weapon. Because it only weighs 2 kilograms, and since it doesn't use ammo, I can wear a graceful cape instead of Ava's accumulator. So, versus a rune crossbow with a dragonhide shield, which is probably what I would have been using, the crystal bow alone makes you 20.5 kilograms lighter, or 12.5 without the shield, along with that range I described in part 1. Now, the most my loadout is ever going to weigh is 0.1 kilograms. It uses up run energy almost 50% slower, and restores it faster from the graceful pieces. And on top of all this, being able to run more makes it a lot easier to kill my good friend, the pyrefiend. Let's talk about him for a minute. There's a reason he's in the thumbnail. So, to start off, he's got low HP, almost no range defense, and just the way things scale, he's the most efficient dropper of uniques. Maybe unless you have a crossbow and can kill the others quickly enough, but I obviously don't. But, how the hell have I been killing him without getting destroyed by clans? I'm going to shut up for a minute so you can see what you can do to him. Check this out. Not only was I totally safe right there, but since the pyrefiend wasn't in combat, he didn't heal himself. And this is always how it happens with all of the Revs. And they don't retreat if you leave the area that they're aggressive in. They just kind of either walk back to their spawn or stand there. Yeah, Revs are weird. So, this means that pyrefiends are the most efficient revenant for me to kill for uniques. I'm going to want to rack up as many pyrefiend kills as possible. I could do something similar to the other revenants as well. You know, maybe if I find a world that had just been cleared, I could take a dragon. But realistically, that isn't going to happen very often. In all likelihood, I'd be sticking my head out into much greater danger. I mean, an Ultimate Iron Man killing revenant dragons is awesome. But the pyrefiend is going to be my focus. Now, the bracelet of ethereum will be a big help with killing pyrefiends, because often when I had a pyrefiend, I could actually attack. It was right after hopping into a world, and the imp and goblin would both be alive as well, and I'd have to kill them first. Sometimes I killed those two quickly and it wasn't much of an issue, but sometimes I didn't, which was really frustrating. So I prefer to go straight to the pyrefiend, which I can do now. Imps are still good too. They have a short respawn time, so you can kill a lot of them. Goblins are not as good as the other two. They have higher range defense than the pyrefiend, and they stand farther away, which makes it a lot riskier to loot their drops. So from now on, if I see all three alive, I'll kill pyrefiend, imp, and goblin in that order. I've also made a few small changes to my inventory. Now with mantas, which are a drop from revs, I can properly combo eat, which is great, the Karab ones. I also have a second Phoenix necklace, and I'm using fire runes instead of a lava battle staff to alch with, which makes me 2 kilograms lighter. The prayer potions I'm going to use very conservatively from now on. From this point onward, I'll probably only use Eagle Eye on the goblin. For the other two, I've found it really isn't necessary. Lastly, I'll be bringing an ectophile for when I enter the caves, which I'll drop when I arrive at revs. Now, before I end the video, I just want to say that if I die, I'll probably deserve it, because it'll be a mistake of my own that cost me. That's generally how these things go. What makes these wildy grinds so hard on an Ultimate Ironman or a hardcore is that you really can't learn from your mistakes. You have to prevent them before they happen, and sometimes things just slip through. It's a game of inches, and sometimes the smallest difference in your preparation or in the way you execute means everything. I've already given you a few examples in part 1 and in this video, but here are a couple more. Here's one that won't slip through. I'm not telegraphing anymore. It's super clunky, and you can't move or log out in the middle of the spell, making it a really huge liability considering I'd be using it hundreds of times. Here's one that did slip. This is after I marked a tile to attack pyrefiends from. This was the start of a textbook kill, perfectly executed. This was before I marked that tile. Whoops. Luckily, I turned out fine. And hopefully, for the rest of my time at Revenants, it'll stay that way. Maybe you'll hear from me again if I get one of the uniques I'm after. But until then, thanks for watching.